For decades, the same boxy white mail truck has been part of America's morning soundtrack, an unchanging silhouette rolling through every neighborhood. But now, something entirely new is about to take its place. The USPS has unveiled the NGDV, or Next Generation Delivery Vehicle, and it's already sparking nationwide buzz. Bigger, bolder, and built for a different era, this truck has arrived with excitement, questions, and controversy. For most Americans, the USPS delivery truck, the LLV, or Long Life Vehicle, has looked exactly the same since the late 1980s. And that's because most of them are from the late 1980s. These aging trucks were originally built for a 24-year lifespan, yet many have pushed well past 100,000 miles. Over the years, they've become notorious for breakdowns, poor fuel economy, and even unexpected engine fires. Safety features we consider standard today, like airbags, ABS, backup cameras, never existed on the LLV. But while the trucks stood frozen in time, America's delivery demands evolved dramatically. The explosion of e-commerce created heavier routes and bulkier parcels. Mail carriers now face extreme heat, snow, and floods with vehicles that were never designed for modern climates. Accessibility issues, reliability concerns, and costly maintenance finally forced USPS to confront a simple truth. The LLV era had run out of road. Recognizing the urgency, USPS initiated a once-in-a-generation search for a replacement, one that quickly drew political, environmental, and even legal scrutiny. And that scrutiny is exactly what has shaped the vehicle everyone's talking about today. The journey to the new USPS mail truck officially began in 2015, when the Postal Service launched one of its largest vehicle procurement programs in decades. Multiple companies entered the race with radically different designs: Ford, Carson, Workhorse, and even a team offering an all-electric concept. But the biggest shock came in 2021, when USPS awarded the contract to Oshkosh Defense, a company best known for building military vehicles, not neighborhood mail trucks. The announcement immediately raised eyebrows. Critics questioned why a defense contractor was chosen over companies with civilian EV experience. The prototype phase didn't help, with early test vehicles being reportedly involved in mechanical failures, unusual redesigns, and timeline setbacks. Each update seemed to spark a fresh round of public skepticism. As delays mounted and political pressure intensified, the selection process became more than a procurement decision. It became a national debate on technology, emissions, and the future of government fleets. Now, with production underway and the first units rolling out, one question hangs over the entire project. Did USPS bet on the right design, or will the NGDV become another controversial government gamble? At first glance, the NGDV looks nothing like the squat LLV Americans grew up with. Its most striking feature is the tall, high roof profile, almost cartoonishly spacious, yet purpose-built. That elevated cabin isn't just for aesthetics. It improves visibility, giving carriers a commanding, nearly panoramic view of the road. Paired with its larger windshield and higher seating position, blind spots are reduced, and safety is boosted from the moment the truck starts moving. Inside, the differences become even more dramatic. The NGDV finally introduces modern safety features. USPS trucks have lacked for decades: the airbags, backup cameras, automatic braking systems, and stability control. For carriers who've spent years driving vehicles with bare metal interiors and zero crash protection, it's a generational leap forward. Then comes the feature postal workers begged for: air conditioning. After years of delivering in sweltering cabins known to reach 120 degrees Fahrenheit, climate control isn't a luxury, it's survival. Heated seats and improved insulation also make winter routes far less brutal. The cargo area has been completely redesigned to handle the modern mail load, with bigger parcels, more frequent deliveries, and heavier e-commerce volume. Shelving, standing room, and easier access make sorting and unloading faster and less physically taxing. Powertrain options add another layer of intrigue. The NGDV comes in both internal combustion and electric variants, giving USPS flexibility while it builds out EV infrastructure. Interestingly, some of its durability features, including rugged components and reinforced frames, hint at Oshkosh Defense's military background. In almost every way, The NGDV is engineered to solve the LLV's most notorious failures. But whether these upgrades justify the cost and controversy remains one of the biggest questions surrounding it. One of the most controversial parts of the NGDV rollout had nothing to do with its appearance. It was the powertrain. When USPS first announced its plan in 2021, the agency shocked many by revealing that the majority of the new fleet would still run on gasoline, not electricity. In an era where every major delivery company, from Amazon to UPS, is racing toward electrification, critics saw the decision as a step backward. Environmental groups, climate scientists, and even the Biden administration pushed back hard. The White House argued that a once-in-a-generation fleet overhaul should be future-proof, not anchored to old technology. Lawsuits were filed, congressional hearings were held, and under mounting political pressure, USPS revised its strategy, committing to a far higher percentage of electric NGDVs. But the debate didn't stop there. Questions linger about whether USPS's EV plan is ambitious enough or already outdated. The electric NGDV isn't a long-range vehicle. Early estimates put its real-world range around 70 to 100 miles, which works for many urban routes, but becomes challenging in rural America. Charging infrastructure, especially for thousands of depots nationwide, adds additional cost and complexity. Yet supporters argue the long-term picture tells a different story of lower fuel costs, less maintenance, quieter operation, and reduced emissions could make EVs a smarter investment over time. All of this fuels one central question: is USPS building a modern electric fleet or settling for a compromise that may age faster than the trucks it replaces? The NGDV program isn't just one of the largest vehicle purchases in USPS history, it's one of the most expensive. The initial contract with Oshkosh Defense was valued at over $6 billion, with the price per vehicle fluctuating widely depending on configuration. Some estimates placed the fully equipped models at well over $40,000 each, rivaling the cost of commercial delivery vans. For many observers, that number raised immediate eyebrows. Fuel economy became a second point of contention. Early reports suggested that the gasoline NGDV would deliver only modest improvements over the aging LLV, despite being far newer and larger. As the debate intensified, the NGDV rollout became surprisingly political. Lawmakers clashed over whether USPS was making a fiscally responsible decision or locking itself and taxpayers into long-term inefficiencies. Multiple oversight organizations issued reports criticizing everything from procurement assumptions to environmental impact calculations. This mix of high cost, high stakes, and high scrutiny turned what should have been a straightforward modernization effort into one of the most politically charged vehicle rollouts in government history. When the NGDV design was first revealed, the internet reacted instantly and chaotically. Some people thought it looked adorably quirky, while others insisted it was downright ugly. Within hours, memes flooded social media comparing the truck to Pixar characters, animated delivery vans, and even cartoon mail carriers. Postal workers, meanwhile, had a more grounded response. Many welcomed the promise of air conditioning and better safety features, while others questioned visibility, cargo layout, and the truck's unusual proportions. What surprised everyone was how quickly the NGDV escaped the world of postal logistics and became a full-blown cultural moment. For a government delivery vehicle to go viral is rare, yet this one became a symbol of modernization, nostalgia, and internet humor all at once. Before the NGDV officially joins mail routes nationwide, USPS began pilot testing the first units in select states, focusing on regions with different climates and delivery conditions. Early feedback from carriers has been cautiously optimistic. Many praise the improved visibility, stronger heating and cooling, and the overall comfort of the redesigned cabin. The backup cameras and collision avoidance tech have also been well received, especially on dense urban routes. But testing hasn't been without surprises. Some carriers noted that the larger size takes getting used to in tight neighborhoods. A few early reports mentioned software hiccups, uneven acceleration on the gas models, and small ergonomic tweaks being requested before mass deployment. USPS has quietly been making adjustments based on this feedback to ensure the truck meets real-world demands and not just design goals. Climate testing has been particularly important. In hotter states, the much-anticipated air conditioning performed reliably, a dramatic improvement over the LLV. In colder regions, Heating efficiency and battery performance on the EV models are still being evaluated to ensure winter routes remain practical. With thousands of units slated for gradual rollout over the next several years, the transition to the NGDV isn't fast, but it is steady. And every test route brings UPS one step closer to a nationwide fleet transformation. The arrival of the NGDV marks more than a new delivery truck. It signals a deeper shift inside the USPS. The agency has been under pressure for years to modernize, from adopting smarter routing software to automating sort centers and preparing for an electric-powered future. The NGDV fits directly into that long-term strategy. Its EV-ready platform, upgraded safety systems, and digital architecture give USPS a foundation it simply never had with the LLV. Beyond the vehicle itself, USPS is investing in nationwide charging infrastructure, improved package handling technology, and data-driven delivery models. Over time, these upgrades could streamline routes, cut operating costs, and make mail delivery more resilient to the demands of e-commerce. There's also room for future enhancements. Modular interiors, better battery tech, integrated telematics, or even semi-autonomous safety features could easily evolve in later versions of the NGDV. But perhaps the most important part of the NGDV story is symbolic. For an agency often criticized for being slow to change, this truck represents something rare, a government institution trying to reinvent itself for the next generation of Americans. The NGDV may be quirky, controversial, and undeniably expensive, but it represents the first serious effort in decades to pull the USPS into a new era. Whether it becomes a symbol of progress or a reminder of bureaucratic overreach depends on how it performs once it hits every neighborhood street. But what do you think? Is the NGDV the future of American mail or just an expensive gamble? Let us know in the comments down below.